What is up, everyone? So today I have the brand new First Strike Hero 4500 carbon fiber tank. We're going to go over its features, its price point, and whether or not it's a good purchase. So let's get into this review and see what it's all about. Okay, so I have a 9 cubic inch 3000 tank here, aluminum. And just to give you a size comparison between them, for the height and stuff, that's what I have to compare. I don't have the 13 cubic inch tank to compare it to, so this is the closest thing. So we'll go over its measurements and then its weights and compare it that way. Okay, so let's start off with measurement. Your traditional 13 or 9 cubic inch is going to be 1 15/16, so 1 inch and 15/16 in diameter. Okay, the bottle length is going to be 5 7/8 inches long from this end to the beginning of the regulator. And with the regulator, the reason why I gave you those dimensions is because not everyone has the same regulator. 8 1/4 from here to there on a stock bottle. Okay, so that gives you the basic idea of its dimensions. Now let's compare it to the 4500, the brand new one. So you're looking at close to the same, 1 inch and 15/16. For the length, you're looking at about 8 1/2 inches long from this end to the beginning of the regulator. And the overall 10 3/8 from tip to the regulator top. So overall, this thing should be equivalent, maybe slightly longer than the 13 CI 3000 tank, because it has this little teardrop shape here. Okay, whereas your 13 is flat bottomed. Okay, so that's that portion of it. Now let's actually weigh this thing out to see how much weight savings you have. We'll weigh your typical 9 cubic inch tank. So you're looking at 13.3 ounces, okay, for this little tiny tank. And the carbon fiber one with the regulator, 13.1. And that's also a reason why I brought this out. So 0.2 ounces in weight difference. So the smaller one is actually heavier by 0.2 ounces than the carbon fiber tank. So 0.2 ounces heavier than the carbon fiber. And we'll run that one more time. So your aluminum tank, you're looking at 13.3. Carbon fiber, once more. Keep it from rolling. 13.2, 13.1, so it fluctuates back and forth. So for the price point that this thing comes in at, you're gonna spend $200 for the carbon fiber tank. For something like this aluminum tank, you're gonna be around the price range of, I'd say, $30 to $40 around there. So it's cheaper. Same thing with the 13. Depending on the date stamps, they kind of mark them down depending on where you buy them as well. So keep that in mind. And also the regulator you get. So this one comes with their nice Hero style regulator here. And we'll go over that in a little bit. But let's go over its features first from the bottom and then work our way up. So you may be wondering why you would choose a carbon fiber tank over an aluminum tank. Well, rule of thumb is your aluminum tanks are 3000 PSI tanks. So you're gonna get 10 balls times whatever cubic inch you purchase. Your carbon fiber tanks are gonna be 15 balls per, or times whatever cubic inch you decide to buy. So that's gonna give you a significantly more amount of balls you could shoot out of a tank. Given the fact that the size of these are tiny, you're gonna want as many shots as you can. So that's why you would wanna go with the carbon fiber tank if you're going with something small like this. Now, if you had a larger tank, carbon fiber, it's kind of up to the user whether or not they're gonna be holding it all the time. because it's a lot lighter. These solid aluminum tanks like this are gonna tend to be a lot heavier and fatigue you. But if you have means of carrying a backpack, then by all means buy the cheaper option because it's a large tank to begin with. So the nice thing about this carbon fiber tank, the 154500 PSI one, is like all tanks, they have a hydro test of 5 years. Carbon fiber, I believe, don't quote me on this, but have a max life of 15 years. Whereas aluminum tanks, I think, are lifetime, but you got to hydro test them every 5 years the same way, okay? This carbon fiber tank here has no sign of weave of carbon fiber, okay? It's just all black, so they already painted it all black. You don't see no weave, which is nice. It's real stealth looking. Also, another thing about the carbon fiber tanks are they're not fully carbon fiber. They're an aluminum tank just like this, and they are wrapped with carbon fiber all the way around them to keep the vessel, the aluminum, from expanding, because the vessel is not as thick as the all aluminum tank. So this all aluminum tank has a thicker aluminum shell, whereas this carbon fiber one has a super thin aluminum shell, and then they wrap it in carbon fiber to keep it lighter weight. Okay, so for this Hero tank, you get a nice regulator, okay? As you can see, it's real shiny, all stainless steel. But the nice thing about it is this bonnet piece right here slides up, and then when it slides up, it's magnetic. So it clicks into place really nice, but it allows you to rotate your collar however you want, okay? So when you screw this on your gun, if this gauge is hitting your wrist, because it's a narrower diameter, so when you use it, if it's hitting your wrist like so, all you got to do is pull out on this collar, rotate it, and that'll put the thread in a different position when it tightens. Mind you, you want to make sure that you screw this on first and figure out what direction you need this gauge to end up on before you fill this up, just to keep precaution, because this may allow it to leach out and blow a lot of air out. I'm unsure of that, but just to keep precaution, because you are loosening this to rotate this. So I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a lot of pressure, if it even allows you to rotate that collar, because it's going to be under pressure, okay? So keep that in mind when making your adjustments. So this is also a nicer regulator than, say, something cheaper like this, because as you can see, the burst discs stick out on this cheaper one, whereas this one here, they sit flush. You have these little slits here with the holes. So what this does is, if this burst disc were to break, all your air would seep out through the sides there and leach out, so that way it doesn't detonate this right off the side. That's typical for all these burst discs, except your cheaper ones just have a hole in them, and they're drilled internally. So you have a small gauge here to begin with on your aluminum one, but your more pristine one has a tinier gauge, okay? So you could tell the difference between these two. Also, the stainless steel looks a little different. Okay, this one's more polished than this one. This is like a matte finish. So the plans for this is to create a buttstock for it that clamps onto it, so that way you could shoulder it. Whereas this one, it's a little short, but the 13 would have been the better choice. The reason why I didn't pick a 13 out was because they were sold out, so I needed something right away. But this one's gonna actually hold a lot more air in a compact size for a home defense option. That's why I went and purchased this. If the home defense option wasn't a thing, then I would have went with the larger tank, like I did with the Ninja, and then just put it in a backpack and be done with it, okay? So this doubles down, so that way you don't have to lug a big tank around. Especially when you start getting into these small tanks, you wanna be able to maximize the pressure in your vessel, so you get more shots for the size that you're gonna be toting around. I mean, this is super tiny, so you wanna maximize your shot count. Whereas this, yeah, this is super tiny, but you won't get enough shots to even utilize this. Especially if I'm gonna be running 1000 PSI out of this, I'm going to need to be able to maximize my shot count for sure. That's going to complete today's little quick overview of this carbon fiber tank. If you're interested in any of the accessories I'm going to be building, such as the buttstock, stay tuned for that, because it's going to be able to adapt to basically any tank that you shoulder, or hopefully that's the goal. Okay, and this one's going to be for home defense. That's why I chose to purchase it, so that way I could put a lot of PSI out of this and not get it mixed up with what I'm using for paintball. Okay, so that's going to complete today's video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. If you want to see content like this and other content I'll be posting in the near future, consider subscribing. Until next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.